If every leaf on Earth suddenly turned black, it wouldn't just be a change in scenery. It would be the beginning of the end for us. On paper, black plants are a biological masterpiece, absorbing 100% of the sun's energy. They should be stronger, faster, and more efficient. It feels like nature just unlocked a hidden, infinite power feature. But in reality, it would be a death trap. If plants actually made that upgrade, they wouldn't dominate the planet. They would struggle to stay alive, and we would vanish along with them. Because in nature, absorbing the most is often the fastest way to break the entire system. Plants survive on sunlight. That's the foundation of almost all life on Earth. Inside every leaf, there's a process called photosynthesis, where light energy is converted into chemical energy. No sunlight, no fuel. No fuel, no growth. Simple. But sunlight isn't just one thing. It's a spectrum, a mix of different wavelengths, different colors, and different energy levels. And here's something most people don't realize. A large portion of the sun's energy sits right in the green and yellow range. Now, you'd expect plants to absorb that, right? But they don't. They reflect it. That's why leaves look green. You are literally seeing the energy they chose not to take. From a common sense perspective, that makes no sense. Black absorbs more light. More light means more energy. More energy means more photosynthesis. And more photosynthesis should mean stronger plants. You can think of it like charging your phone. More power leads to faster charging. So naturally, more energy should lead to faster growth, stronger ecosystems, and more life. It feels like a perfect upgrade, like switching from a normal engine to a turbocharged one. Everything should improve. At least, that's what intuition tells us. So here's the paradox. If absorbing more energy is better, why didn't plants evolve to be black hundreds of millions of years ago? Why would nature ignore such an obvious advantage? Why reflect energy when you could use it? At first glance, it looks like plants are being inefficient, like they're leaving power on the table. But the real problem isn't that plants lack energy, it's that they can get overwhelmed by it. Photosynthesis is not a system designed to take in as much energy as possible. It's designed to take in only as much as it can safely handle. Inside a leaf, energy moves through a chain of reactions, like a production line. Light comes in, molecules process it, energy gets stored. But this system has limits, very strict limits. If too much energy arrives at once, the system can't keep up. And when that happens, the extra energy doesn't just disappear, it gets converted into heat. That heat raises the temperature of the leaf. As temperature increases, the proteins and enzymes responsible for photosynthesis start to lose efficiency. Push it too far, and those systems begin to break down. Not instantly, not explosively, but gradually through stress, damage, and loss of stability. So absorbing more energy doesn't make the plant stronger. It makes the system harder to control. You've experienced this yourself. Wear a black t-shirt under direct sunlight. Within minutes, you feel the heat building up. Now compare that to a light-colored shirt, same sun, very different result. Or think about your phone. When it gets too hot, it slows down. Sometimes it shuts off completely, not because it's broken, but because it's protecting itself. A leaf works the same way. It needs energy, but it also needs thermal stability. Too much energy creates too much heat, and too much heat breaks the system. So that green color we see in plants isn't a flaw, it's a strategy. Plants are not trying to absorb the maximum amount of energy. They are trying to absorb the right amount, just enough to run efficiently without overheating. The rest of the energy gets reflected away, not wasted, controlled. In other words, plants aren't optimizing for power, they're optimizing for survival. In nature, systems don't aim for extremes, they aim for balance. If plants had actually chosen the perfect efficiency of black, the chain reaction would have been unstoppable. Every leaf would become a heat radiator, causing forest temperatures to skyrocket. Plants would burn out, oxygen production would collapse, and the entire food chain, including us, would simply vanish. We don't just live in a green world because it's beautiful. We live in a green world because it's the only one that isn't burning itself down. The color of a leaf is not an accident. It's a biological decision to reject more in order to ensure forever. It's a fine-tuned shield that knows its limits, not to absorb everything, but to survive anything. Because in the end, staying alive isn't about taking the most, it's about knowing how much is enough. If there's another perfect system in nature that feels like a death trap, let me know in the comments. I'm Paradoxly. Thanks for being part of the conversation.